Hello and welcome back to the channel. So today what are we going to be making? Well, some of you may know of a bait done by Nash called the Cultured Hookbait. Now I remember when they came out and they were so expensive, and I looked at them in the tackle shop and I thought, oh, that's a really good idea. Anyway, I did have a play around with them and I did use them and I did catch on them. And what I did was, we do have a few lads who are sort of attached to bespoke baits, so I sent them some. And I never got any feedback from them whatsoever, so I just let it go. However, I did catch myself some nice fish. Now, one of the things about me is our fish a pop-up and our fish a cocoon pop-up, and that is all our fish, unless it's flat bottom that I know I can present a bait properly. So, and obviously where I live and where I fish is pretty limited when that happens. Hence why I always use a pop-up, because generally I'm fishing in weed. So I haven't really pushed the idea. However, looking back, I thought, you know, I made these and they caught me fish, and they caught me fish very quickly. So basically what I thought I would do was I would show you my version of the Cultured Hookbait. Now obviously I'm pretty sure Nash have got that all sewn up with protection and what have you. So we're going to call it the Crusty, okay? So because what we're going to do is we're going to make a bait which is surrounded by a crusty, soluble, full of attraction coating which dissolves very quickly, giving off all them lovely attractions. Because looking back, I did catch them fish really quickly, because I remember I got all set, I got my rods out and I went down to talk to a friend, Steve, who was on the next peg, and I was only there 10-15 minutes and I was having to run back to my swim because the first rod that I put out was away. And I think within, you know, it got dark, and within a few hours, and I think I'd ended up with 3 or 4 fish. I'll check out the pictures when I get sorted, and I'll put them on this video just to show you, because I'm pretty sure there were some nice fish as well. But like I say, it was somewhere where there was a nice smooth bottom, and I could see that with, you know, and hence why I fished these baits. So like I say, I gave some to that my mate Steve who was down there, and I also posted out some out to the lads, but like I say, I never got any feedback. So what I'll do is get all the stuff ready and I'll show you how we go about making these. Okay, so we're going to make these with wafters. We're going to use the yellow wafters that we made earlier in this series, and we're also going to use these white ones. And these were the ones I found on top of the cupboard in the kitchen, where I keep my little pots of bait when I'm testing them to see if they're proved to be okay for shelf lifing. So what I've done is I've put them both on a little shot test, and I'm just going to check to make sure that they are wafters. Yeah, so I'll turn it around. So there's the white one, happily just coming up off there. And then we'll test our yellow ones. Obviously they're a few weeks old now, so let's see how they're getting on. And as you can see, that one's just hanging in there as well. On this video you might notice that the focus is a bit better, because I've managed to turn it into manual focus. So I did think when I was editing them they were a little bit dull and dodgy, but obviously you never know until somebody else has a look at the camera and tries to focus. So that's what I'm going to do. They're the hook baits that I'm going to use. Obviously you could use a bottom bait. I do prefer round ones, because obviously then you get a nice even coating for these baits, and obviously I think the attraction coming off your crusty, you know, the soluble crusty coating on the bait is what really pulls the bait. I mean, once they're down there, they're just going to suck it in. So happy days. Right, so we'll make a start on the mix. Okay, so what I've done is I've cracked 1 egg into the bowl. To that I'm going to add 15 ml of oil. I would recommend that you use either hemp oil or salmon oil. So in this case we're going to use salmon oil. And obviously we need to give that a little mix. So at this point obviously you could add your own flavour if you have a favourite flavour that you wanted to use, something that I really don't do. I try to stick to sort of like a natural attraction. And then what I have is I have a very soluble, let me have a little look here, let's get a little scoop that you can see. So this is a very soluble, full of lots of soluble, mainly soluble ingredients. So just in case you don't know soluble ingredients, that means it'll dissolve in water. So obviously as this crusty surround of your bait, this little coating is obviously dissolving in the water. Obviously hopefully it's going in, you know, might be in a little bit of weed and creating a nice little patch of attraction for these, to pull fish down to your hook bait. So in there is 100 grams. I know you guys like to know exactly what I'm putting in. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the whole lot in, and then that's going to give us our nice little paste. Okay, looking good. We'll just give that 10 minutes and see how it behaves. Catch you in a minute. Okay, so we started off with 100 grams of powder going in there, but we had to add some more. So I know you guys like to know the exact figures. So basically we started with 85 grams of liquid, so that was the egg, the oil and a couple of little pieces that I put in. And then we've added 193 grams of powder, so there you go. And we've ended up with this orange size ball of paste, and it is still on the wettish side, but it's not sticking to my fingers, so I would just roll it up exactly the same. And as you can imagine, now it's where all the hard work comes in, and I'm just now looking to pinch off a little piece of paste. Ideally I like to wait so that I know that each bait's going to be the same. So in this instance what I've got is I've got a 3 gram piece of paste, and then I'm just going to take one of my wafters. So these are 16 mil, and then really it's just a bit like doing a cork ball pop-up, where you're just looking to fold the paste around the hook bait. And once we've got that nice little coating, we can do it in. So that's 3 grams. And I did do a practice one which was 4 grams, which obviously gives you a bigger bait. It's up to yourself. And just to compare the two, 4 gram, 3 gram. So 3 grams of powder. Obviously you've got that tolerance between 3 before it clicks over to 4, so I think what I would do is I would do some 3 and I would do some 4. There's 5, 4. maybe something like the day sessions, you would use the 3s, the 4s, maybe for, you know, the last cast we go that goes out before night. Pretty long and laborious process. Lots of 4. Right, last one for the demo. So, try and get this a little bit closer. So all you're looking to do is, obviously, you don't want to trap any air below the bait. So all I'm looking to do is slowly feed the paste over the top, moving around until eventually we seal the top like so, and then just give it a roll between our hands, palms, so we get a nice aerodynamic round ball. So there's some of the 16mm wafters done. Okay, so I'm going to do some of the white ones now. And for this I'm going to use 8 grams of paste. So I just flatten the paste out. Place the wafter in the middle and then fold the paste up. Okay, 4 large ones. Happy days. Okay, all done. Obviously now all we need to do is just leave them to dry. I wouldn't force dry them. I would just let them dry naturally. So you want to put them in a place. Obviously these are probably not designed for inside the house, and it's not really the time of year to be drying them outside in a shed or somewhere. So you're going to have to be a bit inventive of where you put these things, as this I know does contain a little bit of fish meal, so they are not the best smelling things to be having in the house. I don't know, maybe put them in some rice, something like that, in a container if you could only have the house. I'm going to leave them here and see how we get on. They'll dry out. Obviously you need to be rodent free, so be careful if you're outside with them, because obviously the mice will get into them. But I'm quite chuffed with those. They're exactly how I did it. So what we'll do, we'll let these dry and then we'll put them on a rig, we'll drop them in the tank, we'll pop a GoPro in and we'll do a time lapse and we'll watch how they behave. Good morning. So we're back on the Crusties. I'll just tell you what I've done with them. I've actually dried them out now, so I've got 4 of the large white wafters done now. 2, 4, 6, 8 of the smaller, the yellow 16mm wafters. So it's a bit smelly, that stuff. So basically what I did was I put them in my garage. Obviously the heat from the house from either side basically does keep the garage a little bit warmer. When you open the door and go in, it does feel a few degrees warmer in there. And they've dried canny, so they've probably had about 5 days maybe. 5-6 days. So they haven't been in mega heat, because obviously if you do dry them quickly they're likely to crack. So you need to be careful if you come up with your own mix, just on that. So the plan is now, what I'm going to do is, I've got my little fish tank that I normally take to the shows to show off our other baits. So I'm going to set that up with obviously some water in, and put the GoPro in, and then just have a little experiment time-lapse wise, and you can watch these bad boys break down on a rig. So I've got some rigs, some old rigs sorted, so I'm going to do that. So while I'm here, just want to give them a little so just see what size they ended up at. Yeah, so they ended up with about 20 mil, just under 20 mil, and then the larger ones, they ended up with about 32 mil. So just obviously you've got to get them on the hair, just be wary. And obviously with a little bit of practice you can just get that little skin on. So I probably did the little ones better. Maybe my estimate for the, because I've never done any bigger ones, but my estimate for the bigger ones maybe was a bit too much paste. So anyway, we'll cut to that, and you can obviously just watch them. Oh, before I go, so if you're interested in doing this, I have sorted out some of the powder. So if you want to do your own hook baits, and I'll be putting that on our website. There's also oil on our website as well, so just in little bottles. So if you wanted a little bottle of salmon oil or a little bottle of hemp oil, just to help make that, these will be available on our website. Just a really nice fine powder full of attractors. And yeah, so we'll cut to the tank and watch these guys and just see how they release all their nice little goodies, carp attracting goodies, and you can make your own decision. Maybe you want to have a go at it. There you go, a nice little edge. Obviously, I don't know, I just think that, like I say, I haven't used them probably more on 2 occasions, but I've caught some fantastic fish on them, as you've seen. However, I just wanted to finish this video off by the bit that I froze. Now, as with all boilie pastes, what happens is they dry out over time. So even though this went in to my freezer as a nice lump of usable paste, it's now not. As you can see, as I move that, it's actually breaking up. So what it needs now, it needs some more moisture. So basically all you can do is either add a bit of egg, or I don't have a problem just adding a little bit of water. Obviously just be careful, you know, use a measure, you know, don't go banging 30 ml of water, maybe a 15 ml measure, and that's all we're going to do. So I'm just going to have a little go at that now and see if I can get this paste back into a usable state. Okay, so all I'm going to do, I'm just going to, as you can see, it's a bit unusable at the moment, so all I'm going to do is just break it up into small parts. And then literally I've got a 7.5 ml scoop measure, and I think I'll put 15 ml into that. The thing with this is, obviously you can always add more. If you add too much, you can't take it out, so I'd rather try 15 ml first. Just give it a good squash through your hands. And as you can see straight away, that is now in a little bit more usable state. Not quite there, so we're just going to add one more. So we've ended up putting 22.5 ml of paste, water into the paste. And I think you'll see now, starting to stick to my hands a little bit. But now we do have a much more usable paste to make some more crusties, we'll call them. There you go. I didn't weigh that bit, I just grabbed a bit and obviously just let that dry. Happy days. So what I am going to do this time, I'm just going to actually sort of divide that up into three little bags, so I can take one bag out at a time. I'll give that a little weigh and then divide it up into 3 and pop it back in the freezer. Okay, so what I've done is I've divided them up into 3, put them in little bags, put them inside another bag. So they're about 60 grams, so obviously I can get a good 12 hook baits out of that. I'll pop them in the freezer, and then I'll be able to just take out one at a time as I need to use them. So I think that covers everything. If you do have any questions, pop them in the link, obviously in the comments below. If you would like me to make you some, I could make you some. Also, we now have this little mix is available on our website. Have a look on there, we'll put the link below. We also have hemp oil, we also have salmon oil in little bottles, very cheap. You can buy that as well. So if you need to make some crusties, or want to have a go at making some crusties, everything's there. All you need to supply is the eggs. I think that more or less covers it. I've been Martin at Bespoke Baits, Tight Lines.